Hi, my name is Ben, physical therapist at Total Physical Therapy, and today we are going to be talking about an exercise called VOR times 1. The VOR times 1 exercise is a very commonly prescribed exercise for people that are experiencing dizziness, especially if you have a condition where you have what's called hypofunction of your vestibular system. Hypofunction is just a fancy term meaning that one of your vestibular organs, either in your right ear or your left ear, is not functioning well. And so because it's not functioning well, it is working or is less excited than another side. Because of this, you can feel dizzy. Whenever one ear is sending a signal and the other one is sending a dampening signal, your brain kind of gets confused and it makes you feel dizzy. Whenever this happens, we can sometimes see that your VOR is impacted. Your VOR is a term for the vestibular-ocular reflex. This is a reflex that we use anytime I am moving my head and able to keep my eyes on a target. This reflex allows you to be able to keep your eyes on the target while you're moving your head around. Whenever you have vestibular hypofunction, it's possible that that reflex can get disrupted. So if I have a hypofunction in my left ear, anytime I move my head to the right, my reflex is working well and I can see the camera as I'm turning my head, it's working really well. But if I turn my head to the left, my eyes will travel with my head and then I have to correct by doing what we call a saccade, where the eye comes back to the target. So if I move my head to the right, no problem, I'm gonna keep my eyes on the target. But anytime I move my head to the left, it slips and then I have to bring my eyes back. If I do this over and over again throughout the day, my brain kind of gets confused and I feel dizzy. The idea of the VOR times 1 exercise is that we are working on trying to build up your coordination of your eyes to be able to stay on that target as you're moving your head side to side. There are a number of considerations that we could consider with this exercise, and so it's almost impossible to go through every scenario in this one video, but hopefully I can lay down some ground rules and a framework for you to begin to start working with this exercise and to see if it works well for you in your journey as you go through, as you recover from dizziness. So the first thing is we want to think about the speed of the movement. As I'm holding the target out in front of me, I want to make sure that I am moving as quickly as I possibly can while still being able to read a letter on the target. For most people, that's at about 2 hertz, or meaning that my head is bouncing back and forth twice every second. If you are pretty sensitive and feeling really dizzy, you may not tolerate moving that fast. You may have to start at a much slower frequency in order for you to tolerate this exercise. Your goal is initially to figure out what speed you tolerate. If you tolerate a slow speed, well, as you practice this and get better, your goal is eventually to speed up your speed to where you can go at about 2 times per second or moving your head back and forth. That is your first goal with the exercise in general circumstances. Obviously, if you have a specific circumstance, we may go different ways, but in general, this is a general recommendation I would make. The next thing that I would try to do is I would increase the amount of time that I am tolerating this movement. So say I've built my speed up and I can tolerate that for 10, 15, 20 seconds. The next thing that I would work on is I would try to gradually build up to be about somewhere between 45 to 60 seconds. And so I'm working on doing this and trying to see if I can not get dizzy within that period of time. If you are successful, then we need to start thinking about other ways to progress the exercise. Hopefully by this point you have been doing this exercise sitting down, which is how I would always recommend this exercise be done initially. Once you are tolerating it for a period of time in a sitting position, the next thing that we can think about is we can think about changing your position. Maybe I stand up and do this exercise while I'm standing up. Now, obviously, safety is a consideration. Put yourself in a position where it is very unlikely that you will fall. Maybe you stand in the corner. Maybe you're standing near a couple things that are very stable and easy for you to grab onto. But the idea is that we want you to be safe. But basically, I can do this in a standing position and make it a little bit harder. Another way that we can kind of change the exercise to make it a little bit either easier or difficult is actually to change the distance of my target. Initially I was just holding something out in front of me and it was about arm's length and I was working on an exercise there. Maybe I need to start practicing with the exercise where it's in the distance, where I'm not holding it in front of me, but I'm looking at something much further away and I'm moving my head back and forth with the object further away out in front of me. Another thing that we can consider as we are doing this exercise is we need to be thinking about multiple planes of movement. Working my head side to side is one way I could go, but maybe I also need to work on going up or down, or maybe I can work in these diagonal patterns so that my brain is getting all the stimuli required in order to build tolerance to this movement. I hope you guys found this video beneficial. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave those down in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day.